Right now, the Walt Disney Company is in full-blown panic mode. Their once loyal critics have turned against them, flooding the internet with brutal reviews of Snow White, starring Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. There are multiple reasons this film is tanking. For starters, the bizarre CGI-generated dwarves have left audiences baffled. The story itself is a complete mess, disjointed, agenda-driven, and loaded with Disney's usual messaging. But even if you set aside the politics, it's just a bad movie. The plot crumbles after the first act, and from that point on, it's painfully obvious that this film was stitched together with extensive reshoots and last-minute edits. The pacing is all over the place. The chemistry between Zegler and Gadot is non-existent, and the performances feel anything but authentic. But here's where things get even wilder. South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone, known for their sharp satire, are reportedly taking direct aim at Disney, Rachel Zegler, and the studio's DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives in an upcoming special. This new project is expected to be a follow-up to the streaming wars and joining the Panderverse, and it seems nothing will be off-limits. And here's the kicker. Insiders claim Rachel Zegler is already losing it behind the scenes, furious over South Park's upcoming takedown. Meanwhile, Disney executives, including Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy, are bracing for even more damage as the backlash continues to snowball. It's safe to say, this Snow White disaster is far from over. Back in October 2023, South Park's joining. The Panderverse special was a huge success, taking sharp jabs at Disney and its declining creative direction. Now, with the Walt Disney Company already in damage control over the disastrous reception of Snow White, a new controversy is unfolding, one that directly involves Rachel Zegler and her reaction to South Park's upcoming DEI special. Sources reveal that South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone are moving forward with a full-blown parody of Rachel Zegler's Snow White and the disastrous PR missteps she's made outside of the film itself. Paramount insiders reportedly tipped off Disney executives about the merciless mockery headed their way, and that information was immediately passed along to Zegler, who is said to be furious. Zegler is now threatening legal action against Paramount, South Park Studios, and Parker and Stone themselves. But let's be real. Good luck with that. Every attempt to sue South Park in the past has ended in disaster for the accuser. One of the biggest triggers for Zegler, Parker and Stone are reportedly working on a parody song titled Whistle While You're Woke, a twisted take on Snow White's classic Whistle While You Work. The special is set to feature a multiverse storyline where different versions of Snow White, including the Brothers Grimm version, the 1937 Disney classic, Kristen Stewart's Snow White and the Huntsman, and Zegler's modern take are thrown into a chaotic battle over the true Snow White legacy. On top of that, Parker and Stone are planning an absolutely brutal scene where Cartman, Kyle, Stan, and Kenny dress up as the 7 dwarves and join in singing Whistle While You're Woke, ridiculing the film's bizarre creative decisions and the overuse of DEI hiring practices in Hollywood. Zegler is reportedly taking this very seriously, and even Disney executives, particularly those handling the creative side of Snow White, are scrambling to shut down Paramount's efforts to humiliate the film and the company as a whole. To make matters worse for Disney, the upcoming South Park special will also take fresh shots at Kathleen Kennedy, doubling down on the criticisms from the Panderverse and the streaming wars. With all this chaos brewing, it looks like the Snow White disaster is about to get a whole lot worse for Disney. Let's pause for a moment and acknowledge just how brilliant it is that Trey Parker and Matt Stone are doubling down on their upcoming DEI special. Their plan to mercilessly mock Snow White, Disney, and the entire DEI-driven Hollywood machine is nothing short of genius. Back in 2023, South Park already exposed Disney's real agenda with joining the Panderverse, and that special gained massive traction. It wasn't just another comedy bit. It shed light on Kathleen Kennedy and how she was systematically ruining Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and basically everything under Lucasfilm's banner. A huge number of people had no idea who Kennedy really was or how destructive her leadership had been. But after that episode, they knew. It opened a lot of eyes and pulled even more people into the conversation about what Disney was really doing behind the scenes. Now, Parker and Stone are taking it even further. The special won't just target Disney, it will also take direct shots at Donald Trump and his public push to abolish DEI policies altogether. In a ridiculous, but totally on-brand plot twist. The special will feature Disney princesses Kathleen Kennedy and Meghan Markle leading the charge against Trump's plan. Now, South Park has always been known for hitting both sides of the political spectrum, though not always perfectly evenly. I'll be honest about that. But they do take swings at everyone, and this special is no different. While the DEI agenda itself will be a major target, Parker and Stone are also making sure to skewer Disney, Snow White, Rachel Zegler, and even Meghan Markle. That's right, Meghan. Markle will definitely be getting roasted in this special, adding yet another layer of controversy to an already explosive project. For years, South Park has built a reputation for fearless satire, taking aim at Hollywood elites, corporate hypocrisy, and pop culture trends without hesitation. This time, their latest DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion special has Disney executives and Rachel Zegler reportedly panicking. And for good reason. South Park is no stranger to skewering celebrities and corporations. Longtime fans will remember Mecha Streisand, a ruthless parody of Barbra Streisand from earlier seasons. Now, the show is introducing a new successor, Megzilla, set to target modern Hollywood's biggest controversies, including Disney's current downfall. Reports suggest that Bob Iger, Disney's CEO, and even Mickey Mouse himself will be brutally mocked in the upcoming special, exposing what many see as the corporation's blatant prioritization of political messaging over quality storytelling. Disney's history of forcing social agendas into their films at the expense of strong narratives has caused growing backlash. Now, with South Park shining a massive spotlight on it, executives are reportedly scrambling to brace for impact. Rachel Zegler, the controversial lead of Snow White, is said to be deeply concerned about the impact of this special on her reputation, having already faced public backlash for past comments about the film and the original fairy tale. Zegler now finds herself a central figure in Disney's PR nightmare. If South Park is only saying what people have already been thinking, why does this have Disney shaking in its boots? The answer is simple. They know they're in trouble. Snow White is shaping up to be yet another catastrophic failure for Disney, and they're well aware of it. Here's why. Previously, many film critics excused Disney's creative missteps to maintain industry relationships. But now, even loyal media outlets are starting to call out the studio's failures, delivering low review scores and harsh criticism of Snow White. 3 rounds of reshoots. A complete mess. Snow White was originally finished in 2022. Yet Disney forced 3 major rounds of reshoots, trying to salvage the film. This is a red flag. Films that undergo this level of post-production chaos rarely turn out well. Box office disasters like The Marvels, Indiana Jones 5, and now Snow White have put the company in a dire financial position. Instead of listening to audiences and delivering great stories, Disney has been doubling down on divisive messaging, causing once loyal fans to walk away in droves. The real problem? Disney's refusal to change. At this point, it's obvious that Disney knows exactly what they're doing. They've built their brand on pushing narratives that audiences didn't ask for, all while ignoring the real reasons their films are failing. Poor writing, weak storytelling, and lackluster production. If they weren't worried, they wouldn't be scrambling to suppress criticism or fearing a comedy show's mockery. But the fact that South Park has them in full-blown damage control mode just proves what many have been saying for years. Disney isn't being attacked by fans. They're facing the consequences of their own bad decisions. With South Park ready to expose Disney's failures and Snow White on track for a massive box office flop, the real question is, for a moment, it seemed like Disney might have things under control. But that illusion didn't last long. Snow White has gone through so many reshoots, continuity changes,